My name, of course, is Dustin Thompson with the Sierra Club Delaware chapter. Joining me today is the wonderful, Angie Bevins. And so you are kind of like a partner with Energize Delaware, correct?
Yes.
Wonderful
Yes.
company. Why don't you give us a little bit of background?
Sure. I'd love to. So I gladly tell you more about Energize Delaware if you'd like me to start there. So Energize Delaware is a nonprofit organization. I love to start by saying that because I talk all around energy efficiency. So I'd like for everyone to know that we're a nonprofit. Nothing that we do is about sales. It is all strictly about energy efficiency in the state of Delaware. So we began in 2007 out of legislation, and basically our goal is to foster a sustainable energy future. So we've got over 16 programs all around energy efficiency and making buildings in Delaware more energy efficient. And when I say buildings, I do mean homes, churches, other houses of worship, schools, nonprofits. Pretty much if you want to make it more energy efficient, you definitely want to talk to us because I'm sure we have a program right around that. So I personally work within the residential sector. So I do marketing and outreach for our residential programs.
Wonderful. So I think there's a lot that Energize Delaware does that I think a lot of people don't know about. So one thing I want to announce is kind of exciting is Energize Delaware is shown some interest in doing some more of these live streams. So you might see Angie or others joining us to kind of cover some of these programs. What are some of the residential opportunities for people that are looking to maybe cut down their electric bill or just do the right thing and get a little bit more efficient?
Definitely. So our flagship program is actually a residential program. It is the Home Performance with Energy Star program. And that program is actually a nationwide program. And we're so honored that Energize Delaware has brought it to the state of Delaware. Basically, what the program does is it takes energy efficiency, and the goal is to make it more affordable because it can be a bit costly to make upgrades to your home, to get an energy audit. So we begin the program, we take a $400 energy audit, and the program Energize Delaware actually covers the majority of that cost. So the homeowner only has to pay $100 for the audit. But I'm super excited because right now I get to tell everybody through the remainder of the year, we cut that in half. So you can actually get an energy audit right now for only $50. After the audit, and I mean, the audit is definitely something necessary for everyone's home. It tells you how tight your home is, how energy efficient it is. So after the audit, you're welcome to make upgrades to your home. The auditor will make suggestions. And if you use a participating contractor in our program, you can actually get that work done and then receive back a check for a portion of the work that was done. And fortunately, we list all that information on our website, which I'm sure I'll plug numerous times today, which is energizedelaware.org. And again, that's Energize with a Z, and you spell out Delaware.org.
Wonderful. So kind of want to dive right into it with some, facts that people can kind of take away from this live stream today and maybe put into practice. So what are some of the most common like energy inefficient things that people do? So if there was like one thing that if people could change that they would see a big difference, what would you think that would be?
So I can definitely say first, with all energy efficiency, I want to make sure I give everybody like an accurate perception and what they should look for with it. It generally tends to give you a better, you'll see more over time. So I just don't want anybody to think, oh, she made that suggestion. It didn't, my bill didn't drop a whole lot, but you will see changes over time. But the most inefficient thing that I see most often, which is actually the easiest change to make, is lighting. A lot of people are actually still using incandescent light bulbs. So I'm sorry to anyone watching, if you have light bulbs in your house right now made of glass, ting ting, and filament, then those are actually the older style light bulbs, incandescent. The best and a great way to make an energy change in your home is to actually use LED light bulbs. And if you haven't heard of that before, when you go back into the store, just look for any labeling, any box that says LED on it. And that's going to be the most efficient light bulb, because instead of using, like, say, for example, a 60-watt light bulb uses 60 watts of energy, the average LED light bulb only uses 9 watts. So there's a great saver right there. And then if you take that number and you times it by how many ever light bulbs are in your house, you could be saving so many watts of energy just by beginning to swap out those light bulbs. And while they do cost a little bit more, and I like to tell everybody up front that you actually save a lot more in the long run, because not only do they use less energy, but they also last so much longer. So an incandescent bulb has a lifetime of about 6 months, whereas an LED light bulb has an average lifetime of about 10 years. So definitely it's worth the change and worth the upgrade.
Yeah, I tell you, I had, when I first moved into my first apartment, you know, when you're living with your parents, and this is when I was, I was 17, when you're living with your parents, right, you flip on all the lights, you leave everything plugged in, computers running 24/7, all of that, and you don't bat an eye. I was in my first apartment and had, went about doing things the way I did when I lived with my parents, got my first electric bill. I called the electric company up and said, what the what's going on? And so, the person I was speaking with at customer service was, very friendly and kind of walked through the house with, what do you got plugged in right now? What are you using? What's your light bulbs and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And of course, everything in the house was plugged in, right? The computer's running 24. I had an old water cooler, and I mean old, and I don't even drink cold water. I drink, I don't know why I had it plugged in. You have a cooler, you plug it in, right?
Right.
So I went through, I unplugged the cooler, I started powering down my computer, which I'm sure it was thankful for. And, unplugging everything, because she was kind of talking about, the vampire power, right?
Yes.
And my electric bill, I'm not even exaggerating, from that month to the next month dropped $80. It was almost $200, that first electric
Nice.
bill. Yeah.
The vampire loads can be a huge drainer in your house. And if anybody watching has seen me on any of Energize Delaware's live videos that we do every week, I often end up mentioning vampire loads, but I actually did recently do a whole taping about them, just because you could be spending, for most people, I believe it's an average of 20% of your electric bill is just vampire loads, which is stuff you're not even using. Like you said, the laptops, the chargers, random electronics that are plugged in, but again, they're not on, just drawing energy. So definitely another good one to take a look at.
Yeah. And it's, so, maybe you know the answer to this, maybe not, but just to throw it out there. What about the 5-plug, the multi-outlet sort of power strip sort of thing? Would it be the same to turn because now some of them got remotes, right, where you can turn it off. So would it be the same in terms of vampire power to turn that off as it would be to singularly unplug everything? Is that cutting the circuit sufficiently?
Definitely. So surge protectors, smart strips, power protectors, any of those items where you can plug everything in and it's got the ability to switch on and off, is definitely going to stop that vampire load. You just have to be mindful to actually flip the switch. So if it's switched to on and everything's plugged into that power strip, it's still going to do the vampire load. But if you use a power strip as a barrier, meaning that everything's plugged into it, when I want it on, it's flipped on, but when I want it off, it's turned off, it's going to stop that power so that it doesn't get through. So that item's not going to be able to, in essence, steal or drain your energy.
Wonderful. So these are some real tips, you guys. I'm telling you, you blow your mind. If you walk through your house and you look at all the crap that you have plugged in. I have this one person, a patient of mine years ago, whose husband had, the man shed sort of thing out in the garage, right? The man cave, yeah. And he had, old pinball machines plugged in, and he had a literal soda dispensing machine, like one of the old antique
Wow.
Not retrofitted, like the old antique, soda machines. Plugged in, nothing in it, just like the light on, right? I'm like, all right, well, can we unplug it until he's back in the room and then plug it in to enjoy the light or whatever? And so,
That's a great point.
his man cave was probably drawing half their electric.
Yeah, so to the men out there, definitely take a look in the man cave for sure. You are so right. The power tools sitting out there on the charger for no reason that aren't getting used. As you said, like other little novelty items, put them on a power strip. So when you come in, you can just turn them on versus just as you're saying, leaving them on when, no one's in there. Oh,
Yeah.
so I actually see someone mention in our chat, they said, wait, my phone charger is using power even if my phone's not charging. Yes.
One of the worst ones.
Now, I want to give a little disclaimer. In my test, I did test Apple and Android. So I'm sorry if I sound biased. I am an Apple user. But the Apple charger was not drawing enough energy to read. So if it was drawing anything, it wasn't even a watt of energy. But an Android charger, so anything that wasn't Apple, when it's plugged in, even if it's not on, it will charge just a little bit. And like I said earlier, that might not be, thousands of dollars, but it could be a few dollars a week. And those few dollars a week definitely add up. So unplug the phone chargers if you're not using them.
Absolutely. Save the planet, save your bill.
Yes.
All right, so just kind of at a high level, what would you say, like, what's the connection here between energy efficiency and climate change?
So climate change is basically, for anybody that doesn't know, climate change is just that our Earth, unfortunately, is becoming hotter and colder due to what we're doing to the atmosphere, due to the greenhouse emissions that are going into the air. So energy efficiency is actually a great way to help that, because the biggest source of global green gas emissions is from the production and the use of energy. So we are in essence the reason that climate change is happening, that the world is going through what it's going through. So if you use less energy, then that's less that's going into the atmosphere, and it's less emissions because less energy has to be made. So we definitely want to be mindful of that, because the more climate change gets worse, hotter summers means more AC. So in order to break that snowball cycle there, using less energy is really what we need to do in order to help our Earth reduce our carbon footprint and make life better.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, I think about particularly, I live in Wilmington, and so when you're going through the city, a lot of these buildings were built quite some time ago. They're very old builds, and they're very energy inefficient. A lot of them have,
Yes.
Some of them have original windows, the single pane windows. Some of them, have doors that don't quite line up right anymore because things warp and change over time. A lot of opportunity for energy efficiency improvements. And so when we talk about, Sierra Club talks about expanding energy efficiency programs, and we're an advocacy group, so this is more on us, but expanding these programs, when we talk about fighting for more energy efficiency, what we're really fighting for is equity in energy. And
Agreed.
so it's really, it's all connected. So what would you say are some of the biggest improvements that people could make to become more energy efficient? So talk about the little ones. What are some of the big ones?
So some of the bigger energy efficient changes you can make, of course, any of your appliances. So any appliance in your house, because those are some major purchases that are older. Anything 10 years or older in your house, definitely upgrading that to something that is Energy Star. And when I say appliances, I am talking about your HVAC system. I'm talking about your refrigerator, because it's always running, your washer and dryer and dishwasher, all of those. But to be honest with you, my favorite big change you can make is to weatherize your home. Weatherizing your home is an energy efficient blessing, and it's gonna make it so much better on you financially as well. So Dustin was just mentioning a minute ago about those older homes with the doors and the windows and those different issues. That's all around weatherizing your home. finding air leaks in your home and then sealing them up is one of the best ways to save energy and save yourself some money. I did do another live that was all around that. So you can do a lot of the things yourself. It just requires some time. I suggest to most people set aside a Saturday, begin to go through your house, and what you're looking for, especially around windows and doors, is anywhere that air is moving. Now, I'm not talking about the window open, but around the frame of the window. If you feel air around the frame of the door, other places in your house, definitely taking care of insulation in the attic. A lot of people don't think about that, but especially during the winter, heat escapes right through your attic. So it really, no matter how good your heating system or your cooling system is, if your home is full of leaks and places where the air can get out and air can get in, then it's going to cost you a lot more, and you're going to use so much more energy. Weatherizing your home on average can save you about 30% on your electric bill. And yes, I love throwing these numbers out here to encourage people to please do this. So you can air seal your home with, you can use caulk and a caulk gun. They make rope caulk. There's, different forms of windows you can get, different forms of insulation for your attic and your walls and different places. But I would definitely say taking care of those areas is one of the biggest and the best returns on your money you will get. And if you use the home performance program, plug, will actually help take care of that for you.
Yeah, I tell you, when I first, this is my first house that I own, the one I live in now in Wilmington. And before, of course, your landlord you just kind of go for the ride, right?
Yep.
And so when I got into this house, it was wintertime, and my wife and I like to sleep in a nice cool room, right? So it was great. I didn't think about what happens come summertime. Summertime comes around. The upstairs is, when I say sweltering, I mean impossible to be in.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we actually had to move into the basement during the summer for the first year and a half of us living here. We went, Home Depot, got some blow insulation because we found out about the attic thing, right? Insulating the attic. And we re-blew the insulation in the attic. And now, it's like there's maybe a 1 or 2 degree temperature gradient from upstairs to downstairs. It's like before it was at least 10. It was crazy. So
nice.
I can testify to that. That attic insulation is no joke, and that really saved on the electric bill for sure. So so you mentioned the one program. How does that work? How do people get engaged on that?
Sure. So for our home performance program, if you are interested in getting involved, you can go directly to our website and apply for it. And again, that's at energizedelaware.org/performance for that particular program. Or you're definitely welcome to give us a call at our toll-free number. It's 877-524-1339. Again, that's 877-524-1339. And there are steps involved to the process, like you have to have the audit first, then you can proceed with having the work done. But when you sign up, we do our best, and we have great contractors in the program that will walk you through step by step of each part of the process, what's going to happen next. And believe me, they guide you amazingly in making your home more energy efficient.
So we had a question. We talk a little bit about, some of these bigger things and about weatherizing for the renters out there, the people that, if they rent a building and, can't get the attic insulation blown. What are some things that you would say renters could still do within that, the confines of their abilities to weatherize?
Sure. So for renters, it's more so going to be about the minor changes you can make. And my favorite change is actually a behavior change. So there's a lot of things with your thought process that that can help you save money. For example, it was said earlier, it might sound minor, but believe me, it's not. Turning off lights, unplugging things when you're not in the room. Those are going to be big helps to you because that's a good portion of what you're paying for. Also, half of the electric bill, if your heating and cooling unit is electric, half of that usually goes to heating and cooling. So even if you don't own the place you live in, one thing you can do to bring that number down is to find the setting on your thermostat that is, here's why I say it like this. There's a certain recommended setting from the government, like during the summer, they suggest 75 degrees. During the winter, they suggest 68. For some homes, that is not going to be bearable. And for some homes, it may not be possible. So I always tell people, like right now during the summer, find the highest setting that you can stand. So say, for example, it's 72 degrees. Maybe you can take it with your AC on 72. All right, good. That's the highest you can stand. Turn a fan on and try to take it up 2 more degrees. And the reason for that is a normal box fan or a ceiling fan costs much less to run, but your air conditioning unit or your central AC is going to cost a lot more. Ceiling fans and box fans generally cost about $3 a month to run. That's nothing compared to, like I said, your AC unit is probably currently running you about half of your electric bill. So one of those mental changes is to try to keep it where you're comfortable. I don't want anybody hot and sweaty because I said so, but get it to where you're comfortable, and then try to find a setting that's just a few degrees higher if you can, and save yourself some money. For every 2 to 3 degrees, you can save 2 to 3% on your electric bill. So see how these little things can start to add up. Also teaching everyone else, if you don't live alone, teaching the others in the house the same thing, all the tips that you do. And then the last tip that I'll give, if you have a washer or dryer in your home, or just your oven, so anything that's making heat, don't use it during the day. It's an easy tip, but behavior-wise, you know, you have to get in a mindset that I'm not going to run these items during the day because they're going to run up the electric bill. And then also they're going to put off heat, which is going to make the AC have to work a bit harder. So there's a lot of behavior things that you can begin to do that will bring that down.
So here's two other questions here.
Sure.
Maybe we can solve one of the greatest ongoing battles of all the time, whether it's proper or not to touch the thermometer, right? All the dads out there watching, don't touch the thermometer. Is it better to have it a little bit higher during the day and drop it a couple of degrees at night, where you're maybe you're out of the house, right? And maybe you can go a little bit higher. Caution to all the pet owners out there.
Yeah.
But then when you get home or when you're getting ready to go to bed, if you're like me, you need a little bit cooler. Is it better to have it up higher and drop it down a few degrees, or just stay the few degrees lower the whole time?
So great question. And I actually get this one asked the most during the winter months. So the way your central, and I'm talking more about the central AC and heating units, the way they work is kind of like somebody trying to ride a bike uphill, right? Okay, stick with me for a minute. If we're going uphill, it's easier to get uphill if I've got a little bit of a running start versus being at the bottom of the hill and trying to get straight up. Here's what I mean by that. It is better to leave your air conditioner on and turn it up during the summer when you leave home than to turn it. You may save some money while it is off. Yes, I'm not going to say you won't, but when you come home and you turn it back on, you're going to basically tell it, hey, I know you haven't been doing anything all day, but instantly, can you hurry up and start running and cool off everything in here? It's going to kick into action and kick into action even harder. It's going to cause it to work more. During your winter months, it tends to make your system go into emergency heat, which costs you so much more money. So to answer the question, yes, when you leave the house, turn your AC up. Take it up. I usually tell most people, if you're not home, no pets are home, you can take it up to like 78, maybe even 80 degrees. And it's still going to be working to keep it cool in there, but it's not going to be working very hard. And then when you get home, you can begin to increment it up no more than about 3 to 5 degrees at a time. So I would say, if you come home, it's 80 in the house, you want to get it to 75, you might turn it down to 78, then come back in 30 minutes, turn it down to that 75. You want to give it some time to work, just like a person. You don't want to say, hurry up and do it now. Give it some time to work. It's going to do it at a better pace, and it's not going to cause a spike in energy usage.
And this is why the smart thermometers can save you so much money.
Oh, if you can get a smart thermostat, they are beautiful. So plug again, the home performance program, actually, if you get a new heating system with a new smart thermostat installed by one of our contractors, you definitely get a rebate back for that. I think our rebate right now is, oh, I hope I don't quote it wrong. So you have to go to the website and double check, but I think it's either $50 to $100. We give that back in the form of a check after it's been installed and everything. But smart thermostats learn you, learn your patterns. You also have the ability to change the temperature on your phone, which is awesome. I was actually at a conference and a gentleman told us he was in the air about 50,000 feet. Like, oh my gosh, I forgot to turn off my thermostat when I left. And he was gone for an extended period of time. So he forgot to turn it off, but right there on the plane, he was like, boop, boop, done, which is amazing. And also smart thermostats have what's called the geofencing, if you've ever heard of that. So on my way home, I don't have to be like, I don't have to turn the thermostat up when I get home. Automatically, you can program a smart thermostat. So when you're within 5 miles of your house, your phone and your thermostat talk. And now the thermostat automatically knows, hey, oh my goodness, Dustin's almost home. Let's turn the AC down or up or whatever we need to do. So it's amazing technology, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, so for all the dads out there, you can lock the thermostat and you can be the only one in control, right?
Yes, the master of the thermostat.
Which is it's every guy's dream, right? So
Mom too.
So what about kind of some low or no cost changes? So I know we talked about unplugging things, which is a great one. Yep. Some of these other things do cost some money. So is there any other kind of no or low costs or things people can do for free?
Sure. So yeah, we definitely talked a little bit earlier about the light bulbs is always something else you can do. There's other water saving measures you can do because we don't tend to think too much about water. And this goes back to our renters. We don't think about water, but the second biggest user of energy in your house is your hot water heater. So everything you can do to lessen your hot water use, shorter showers, not running the water, while you're brushing your teeth and stuff, anything you can do to use less hot water is definitely going to save you on your bill as well. And then one no cost method I definitely want to put out there. So another program Energize Delaware has within the residential sector is the Home Energy Counseling and Checkup program. And what happens is this program is specifically for low to moderate income individuals. So I have to say that again for you, not just low income, but also if you're more on the moderate level. And you can find all that information on our website as well. But in that program, at no cost, we give what's called an energy checkup of your home. It's about an hour-long visit. An energy auditor walks through the house with you, gives you tips in the house, tells you about other programs in the state that you may qualify for. And then at the end of it, no cost again, they install up to $100 worth of energy saving measures in your home. So those LED light bulbs I talked about, they make LED night lights, hot water heater pipe wrapping. I know I'm forgetting. Oh, you also can get new shower heads and new faucet aerators, up to $100 worth of all those items, no charge. So you definitely want to check out our website for that information as well.
Absolutely. And for those that are watching on YouTube or after the fact, on our webpage after this is done, we'll put it all together. We'll get this website out for you, and we'll link it in on our website. So it's sierraclub.org/Delaware/live stream series, and live stream series is separated by the little dash there. So we'll drop that in the comments as well. So somebody asked about, we've been talking about Windows. Is there any programming for help with Windows? Any grants or loans or anything like that?
Yeah, so that's a good one and a question we get often as well, because people are concerned about windows and doors. Just to let you know, none of our programs cover windows and doors, and there aren't too many others. I'm not aware of any in our actual state that do, but there's a reason for that. So we cover air sealing. Air sealing, which is sealing, again, those spaces around the window and door, is actually going to benefit you way more than getting new windows and doors. So new windows can be beneficial to your home. I'm not saying it's not. and I hope none of the window salesmen come after me. But every window and every door, in essence, is a hole in your home. They all are. Even if you get a single pane, double pane, if you get this super, armory door, they're all still holes in your home. So what's more important and what saves you more money with a quicker return on your money is to actually air seal around them and make sure they're not leaking.
And that you do offer programming for.
That we do.
So just real briefly, and I think we'll have to do another stream on this topic in general, but what about the mom and pop shops, the small businesses out there?
So great question, Del. We do at Energize Delaware have different programs for businesses of any size, but especially we want to make sure that those small businesses are getting some of the love and attention they deserve with energy efficiency. So what we have, our main program is actually a low interest commercial loan program. So what happens is you're able to utilize the contractors in our program, and we actually do have loans in place for you to make energy efficient upgrades. So if you're curious about that, you can definitely see them on our website. But again, you're able to get a loan with an amazingly low fixed rate. So definitely check out the website. And then we also work with you as far as, the terms of the loan and everything else. But the loan can be used completely for the installation and any upgrades of energy efficient measures in the business. And then I also want to mention, because welcome to Delmarva, we have a lot of different farmers out there. We do have programs for farms too, just because a farm uses a lot of energy. There's different watering devices, different feeding devices, all types of mechanical items. So you definitely want to check us out. We've helped so many farmers already on Delmarva to be able to upgrade affordably. So feel free to check out our website and look up the programs there as well.
And we'll have to take Energize Delaware up on their offer to maybe do one of these once a month and talk about some of these programs. But I do want to touch on one more.
Sure.
The Air Club's all about solar. We're all about renewable energy, of course. We're going to fight for more solar programming, and we're going to fight for more renewable energy. But I know, Energize Delaware already has some solar programs for those that want to take it to the next step and go beyond just efficiency and actually help produce energy via solar panels. So could you tell us just a little information about that?
Sure can. So before I go directly into our programs, I just want to mention that we do work with some of the utilities. So anyone looking to do solar, you also want to take a look at your utility, because some of the utility companies do offer rebates and other things for going solar. But as far as we're concerned, what we have is a residential solar loan program. So again, it's a loan program, but I want to give you the benefits of it because people hear the word loan, they're like, no, this is beneficial, believe me. So unlike Solar City and the other places where you're just leasing the solar panels, through our loan program, you actually would be the owner of the solar panels, meaning that any credits or anything you get out of it, that's for you to determine what you want to do with. But the loan program itself is amazing because you can finance any amount from $5,000 all the way up to $30,000, and we cover up to 70% of the cost. So in essence, you would only have to pay out initially 30% of whatever the total project cost is going to be. And then the actual rate, all of our solar loans have the same rate. So the interest rate is 3.9%. 3.9. So I often tell people, you can go talk to the bank and other places and see what, their terms are, but 3.9 ain't half bad at all. And then the maximum terms for it is 10 years, but you can help determine that. So you can actually have that discussion about the years that you need. And the only stipulation that we have with that is that you definitely do have to use one of the participating contractors in that program as well, because we vet them out. But you can go on our website, and once you take a look, you'll see every contractor there, and then you're welcome to do research and select whoever you would like to use. 30%
at 3.9%. Makes me wish I didn't have a flat roof.
I know, right? I did.
You know, we'll be fighting for community solar for people like me that can't put it on their roof. We had another question from Facebook as we're wrapping up here. If you have any more questions, drop in the comments or in the chat, respectively. But is there any work? Does Energize Delaware do any work in terms of reaching out to apartment managers or landlords to talk about kind of that voluntary promoting of, you know, these climate responsible lifestyle changes and getting more energy efficiency programs?
Definitely. So from multiple angles, we can, I don't want to say attack, but approach a multifamily building. So the first way we can attack it is we do have a multifamily program. So the information, the contact information for all of that is on the website. But basically, we work with the building manager themselves to make the entire building or the entire multifamily complex more energy efficient. So that can be any number of energy efficient upgrades there. It could be lighting, it could be something within all the apartments, but it definitely is a great one. As far as education to the tenants within those apartments, they are still able to use some of our residential programs just for education itself. For example, as you see me here talking about energy efficiency, I also do workshops. And pre-COVID, we would actually come to the center and we could do a workshop for the tenants. But now we're in the midst of working on virtual workshops. So say, for example, someone had a building, they wanted to make upgrades to the building, they could go through one program for that. And then they could also talk with me about doing a virtual workshop for any of their tenants that live there. And our virtual workshops, we're actually also in the midst of trying to be able to offer them energy kits that we can mail out. Prior to COVID, we gave kits at the workshop. We're hoping now we'll be able to mail them out. So we've got various different ways. Here's what I tell everybody. If you have a question about energy efficiency and you want to see what you can do about it, reach out to Energize Delaware. We're definitely going to look into what programs we have available and see what other resources we can try to hook you up with.
Wonderful. Well, I thank you so very, very much for joining us today. Hopefully you'll be back and we'll be talking about more ways that we can save the planet together.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody that's watching on Facebook and everybody that's watching on Zoom. I got my nice dual monitor set up here. Next week, we are talking about the plight of the ocean, and particularly the coral reefs that are currently not going so well in our ocean, and what we can do at home to help with that on that front. And then the following week, we'll be talking about the climate action plan that the state of Delaware is in the process of undergoing right now, which we hope will include energy efficiency, of course. So we hope that we will see you next week. As always, please view our old episodes on our website and sign up for upcoming episodes on our website. So again, thank you so much, Angie. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And if you don't mind, I'd just like to plug anyone that's free tomorrow. Every Thursday, you can go to Facebook, search up Energize Delaware, and we do Facebook Lives talking about a lot of these topics that we did cover today. So feel free to tune in, learn some information. And again, thank you so much, Dustin, and thank you to the Sierra Club for thinking of Energize Delaware.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good one, everybody.